Hi guys, Keith Downie here. Welcome to my latest video diary. This one coming from inside the stadium here at Lincoln Financial Field on the south of Philadelphia, where Newcastle tonight have drawn 3-3 with Aston Villa in their opening match of the Premier League Summer Series. I was here last night to see Chelsea win 4-3 and earlier on today to see Fulham win 3-2 at home to Brentford. So far in the three matches that we've seen 18 goals here at Philadelphia, and then on top of that I was in North Carolina earlier in the week to see Chelsea put 5 past Wrexham, so 23 goals in 4 games so far since I've been in the US, and I have to say it's been a treat to be at these games. I know pre-season friendlies are often quite sort of boring and non-eventful, but I have to say the 3 matches here have been great. The atmosphere has been really, really good, and it's given the local fans here in the US, and many of them have travelled, not just from Philadelphia, many have travelled from New York and elsewhere, to give them an opportunity to see new look Newcastle United and everything that Eddie Howe's doing with this group of players. Now, it was very different tonight. Newcastle setting up completely differently. Eddie Howe religiously plays that 4-3-3, but tonight decided to go to 3 at the back with Kieran Trippier and Paul Dummett either side of Fabian Schär, and it wasn't looking too good because after 10 minutes Aston Villa were 2-0 up, and it took a while for them to get used to that. So I think some of that might come from the fact that Newcastle are playing Aston Villa in the first game of the season. We've just been speaking about it in the press room just now, and that might have been part of the reason why he changed it up, to maybe just confuse Villa and make them, not give them a proper look at the side ahead of that game in a few weeks' time. But irrespective of anything else, it was great entertainment for the locals who came here. In terms of displays, I thought Elliot Anderson was excellent. He's been terrific in all the pre-season matches so far. I watched him at Gateshead a couple of weeks ago, thought he was great. Scored again tonight, set up a goal tonight, and just looks actually really at home in that more advanced position. He was playing in behind Alexander Isak in that first half, and really was involved in everything. We were asking Eddie Howe about it in the press conference afterwards there, and Eddie said exactly that. He said, I've been really, really impressed with him in pre-season, and I think that's why he's been getting a start. I personally as well thought Lewis Miley, when he came on at half time in the second half, was so good for a young lad. I said to my cameraman who was sat next to me, I said that lad's only 17 years old, and he said no way, he looks much older than that, just his composure and his poise in the ball, and he just looked so at home, and he was up against Yuri Tielemans in midfield and held his own and did not look out of place at all. So I think there's good things for him in the future. I thought Anthony Gordon looked sharp. We've actually just spoken to Anthony Gordon in the mix zone afterwards, and he talked a lot about how unfit he was when he joined the club and what Eddie Howe's done. He said it was overwhelming, the amount of information he had to take on board, but he says he's taken it on board now and he's so excited for the season. He only had 4 days off after the Euros win with England. Of course, he won Player of the Tournament there, and he said he didn't even have a chance to go away. He was so desperate to get back and see his dogs that he had a couple of days at home with the dogs and then straight back into training again. So he was someone that looked sharp. And then of course the main talking point probably tonight in terms of performances and arrivals was Harvey Barnes. We saw Harvey Barnes arrive beforehand, caught a glimpse of him walking off the team bus and getting set for his debut. He came on for the last 20 minutes, and for the first sort of 10-15 minutes couldn't really get on the ball, but then he received a pass wide in the left towards the end, cut inside onto that trusty right foot, as we see so many times. I think he did it a number of times last season for Leicester, and he has done over the last few years, cutting on that right hand side and right foot, and then a shot of these goals behind me, right up there towards the top corner it was going, but Robin Olsen got across to save it and stop the effort. What a start that would have been for Harvey Barnes on his debut. But Eddie Howe has just said in the press conference afterwards that he doesn't actually know too much about him. He's just heard great things. He's heard that he's an incredible character, and he's heard that he's just a great guy who's going to fit into the group, and it certainly looked like that tonight afterwards. I saw him hanging around in the tunnel afterwards with some of the Villa players and the Villa staff, and it just seemed like he gets on with everyone. It seems like he's a player who's going to fit in perfectly to what is an unbelievable team spirit in Newcastle United. I think we all saw the video of Joe Linton arriving, didn't we, the other day, warmly embraced by the manager and some of the players after arriving late to Atlanta, and I think that encapsulates everything that's going on at Newcastle United as a club at the moment. What else? Transfers. You will want to know about transfers, of course, won't you? Well, Eddie Howe was asked about it, of course, in his news conference afterwards. Now that Barnes is done, is he now moving on to the next one? And he said, yes, we are now mentally preparing for the next one, but suggested that nothing is close for any other new signing. So I know there's been a few reports out there that Tino Livramento was done and agreed. That is not the case, but talks are still taking place, and you would think it's kind of got the hallmarks of a Harvey Barnes one, so it's the kind of one that could yet happen over the next few days. But you have to say, looking at the squad at the moment and the options that he's got at full back, there's not a desperate need for someone to come in. I actually thought Harvey Manquillo, I know he's set to go, but I thought Harvey Manquillo was excellent in the second half tonight. And then of course Matt Targett started at left back and Dan Burn came on at half time, and of course you've got Kieran Trippier who started on the right of the back three, but we know once the season starts he'll be the stick-on choice at right back. And in terms of injury news, Sean Longstaff missed tonight. He said he's got a small groin problem, but he should hopefully be fine to train back in Atlanta when the team get back there. They're actually heading back to Atlanta tonight, where their base is. I fly to Atlanta in the morning, and then we'll spend a few days there before moving on with him to New Jersey. But just as I mentioned, injury news there, I should probably tell you about my injury. Today, as I left the gym, I was walking down a couple of steps, looking at my phone stupidly, and missed my footing in the end, and what resulted was me going over horrendously on my ankle and tearing my ankle ligament. So my ankle is currently twice the size it should normally be. Been in a lot of pain tonight. I don't think that's going to help with any dancing I might be doing over this next week or so, and I'm glad I ran up the rocky steps a couple of days ago. I don't have to do it tomorrow, because let me tell you, walking is causing me a lot of pain at the moment, never mind running or climbing or anything like that. But yeah, I did that before the game kicked off today, and a couple hours before the game kicked off I've been in excruciating pain all night, so doesn't bode well for the rest of the trip. But listen, at least I'm still here, because at one stage I thought I was probably going to have to go to the hospital because of the pain that I was in. You can probably see they're turning the lights out on me here at the Lincoln Financial Field. Thoroughly enjoyed my 3 or 4 days in Philadelphia. What an unbelievable city it is. Met a lot of Newcastle fans based over here, and just really enjoyed everything that Philadelphia has to offer. It really is a cool city. It has a feel of New York, but in a smaller place. So really thrilled that I've had the chance to come out here and experience some of it, and looking forward to going on to Atlanta tomorrow. So we'll have plenty more coverage, I think, on we fly tomorrow. On Tuesday there'll be an open training session with the squad, which I'll bring a bit of that to you here. We'll also hear from Eddie and a couple of the players on Tuesday, and there's a couple of fan events as well that we'll do in Atlanta, where it's going to be big because of the links, of course, with the club chief executive Darren Eales. So looking forward to Atlanta, trying to dig in with this ankle, and yeah, it's been a great night. 3-3 draw, goals galore. What next? Anyway, I should probably get myself out of here. It might take me a while to hobble home, or certainly to the car on this ankle. But if you like what you're seeing and you want to see a little bit more, please subscribe to the channel, and much more content will be coming your way from the US over the next week or so. Okay, cheers for now. Bye bye.